A devastating day for America, seen through the eyes of school children, remembering the Challenger disaster on the day it happened. That's next from the vault. Plus, the final harvest for a business that bloomed in central Illinois for nearly a century. And the secrets hidden in these Lincoln letters, revealed after hiding in plain sight for decades. All that and the guest of honor at this festival honored for its medal. Next from the vault.
The stories that made news and made history. The places that mattered to us and the people who made Central Illinois home. Join us from the vault.
Hi all, I'm Matt Metcalf. Thanks for joining us. Every generation has its news event that has to be explained to them by their parents. For Generation X, it was the explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger. Children all over central Illinois were tuned in to see the first teacher go to space when tragedy struck. Channel 3's Yvonne Simons was with second graders in Iroquois County. It's from the vault, 1986.
Each launch is an amazing feat of technology, and NASA has had such a successful track record that many Americans are unaware of the comings and goings of the space shuttles until today.
A lot of things are still unclear about what happened. What is apparent that it was a tragedy, and I think it's safe to say that all of our hearts go out to the families of all of the crew of the space shuttle.
Even before this morning's explosion, there was an extra interest in this shuttle mission because Challenger carried the first member of the Teacher in Space project, civilian Krista McAuliffe. Lynn Hafley of Bloomington, one of the Illinois finalists in NASA's nationwide search, expressed a sense of loss.
I don't even at this point anticipate what the consequences will be. The tragedy is certainly one of the biggest losses to the space program and education. And being such a publicized and hoped for and waited for launch, I think the tragedy is magnified.
Many educators and students, like these second graders at Sheldon Elementary School in Iroquois County, gathered this morning to watch the historic flight of the first teacher in space, with its all too surprising ending.
We've been around to talk to the elementary students that were involved as soon as we could to check their feelings and to help channel those feelings in a way that we thought might be helpful to them so that they don't worry. A second grader told me if the worst is true, she said, then instead of praying for them, we should pray for their families. So I think they had a good finger on what might be a good thing to do.
Last summer, NASA Administrator James Begg said of the Teacher in Space project, and I quote, "We hope to help restore prestige to the noble profession of teaching, something it has sadly lacked in this nation in recent years." Though he could not have possibly predicted today's events, tragedy has a way of ennobling people. And for the students at Sheldon Elementary School, Sharon Krista McAuliffe and the crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger won't soon be forgotten. Yvonne Simons, Channel 3 News, Sheldon.
In 2015, NASA opened a memorial to the crews lost on both Challenger and Columbia. NASA was eager to rekindle the dream of spaceflight amongst youngsters. 2 years to the day after Challenger, NASA set up a display at the Marketplace Mall in Champaign to bring the future of space to them. Here's Larry Meyer from the vault, 1988.
There was a lot of looking up and looking ahead at this traveling NASA exhibit. Central Illinois grade school students looking up to impressive scale models of NASA rockets, 1/10 the size of the real thing. Looking ahead to space shuttle flights to a permanent space station, all to celebrate 30 years of American spaceflight.
We have the past, present, and future exhibits of a space exploration. It goes from the old Mercury, Gemini days to Apollo's, Saturn's. We have the lunar lander, which is behind us, that was used to land on the moon's surface. We have the new space station concept.
Spacesuits have changed a lot too over the years. I got to try on a replica of the latest style.
You're going to have to pretend this is a stick-up, Larry.
The real suits now cost $2.3 million a piece. That price, they're now one size fits all. Some of the students looking on want to suit up for real someday. They may get their chance.
These children, some of them may be living in space. We may have some astronauts, future astronauts here today.
Do you want to be an astronaut someday?
I don't think so. I wouldn't want to go up in space. It'll be neat to live in space if we ever do. I don't think I'd like to be an astronaut. Oh yeah, I'd like to go there, visit, because I would think it would be fun floating all around the place.
The show continues through Sunday here at Marketplace Mall. Larry Meyer ready to blast off, Channel 3 News, Champaign.
It was September of that year that Discovery flew the famous return to flight mission. Well, NASA's shuttle program flew 135 missions in all, making some of the astronauts celebrities. So it was a big deal when they came to Central Illinois, like this appearance by Harrison Schmidt, who visited Wiley and Thomas Paine elementary schools in Urbana. The Apollo 17 astronaut talked about his adventures and encouraged children to follow their dreams.
I think Americans love to explore. They love what comes from space. They realize that it's an important part of our national heritage as well as our national future.
Schmidt and the Apollo 17 crew are credited with taking the famous blue marble picture of Earth from space. Still to come, more discoveries here on Earth, where we learned about Illinois' favorite son, Abraham Lincoln. Plus, the buzz on the Central Illinois family that wrote the book on bees.
From the Vault, celebrating the rich history of Central Illinois. Brought to you in part by the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. Online at presidentlincoln.illinois.gov.
Central Illinois is known for soybeans and corn, but at one time it was also known for baby's breath and roses. Pana, the city of roses, once exported 18 million a year. So it was a difficult time for the town when the last of its kind, Illinois Roses, closed in 1994. WCIA's Dave Brandon spoke with some longtime employees.
Thorny competition from Colorado, the West Coast, and South America has driven Illinois Roses Limited out of business. Tomorrow, the longtime Pana business will shut down, putting more than 20 people out of work and leaving Freddie, their dog mascot, with nowhere to beg food or attention.
What's going through your mind now that the company's going to close here tomorrow?
Well, just take it kind of easy and then retire February.
So you're kind of looking forward to it, actually.
Well, it's about time, 28 and a half years here, I guess.
Working the rose greenhouses in Pana had been a job passed down through generations. Illinois Roses Limited dates back to the 1920s, with business really getting rosy in the 40s. Cindy Henry is a second-generation roser.
It's going to be sad because I'm going to miss everybody. And because I've worked with them for years, I've been here for 14 years.
The closing of Illinois Roses Limited marks the end of a 50-year era for Pana, which used to be known as the rose capital of Illinois. At one time, there were up to 6 rose growers here with as many as 40 greenhouses. The greenhouse will shut down tomorrow and the plants will be left to die. Some will live on, however. The Springfield Park District today transplanted some select plants for a park in the capital city. Dave Brandon, Channel 3 News, Pana.
Pana's roses were nationally known, even gracing the necks of Kentucky Derby winners. So you probably never knew that Edgar County was once the epicenter of bee research in the United States. Amongst beekeepers, the Killian method is known and respected. It's a way of organizing bee colonies to maximize their production, and it was invented here in Central Illinois. Suzanne Kay met the keeper of the Killian bee dynasty for PM Magazine back in 1983.
Now here, you're getting a close view of the mother queen. She'll lay about 2,000 eggs a day during the summertime. She's the mother of all these bees in the colony here. She's the mother.
When Gene Killian talks about bees, you can bet a bucket of honey he knows what he's talking about. This gentle, soft-spoken man from Paris, Illinois, is one of this country's most respected authorities on bees. At one time, he had 1,000 hives. Now he has 30. Gene is the supervisor of the Bureau of Apiary Inspection with the Illinois Department of Agriculture. and he's been a beekeeper since he was 8.
What really got you going?
I suppose competition because they sting, maybe, I don't know. How I could work with them without getting stung, something like that. Watching them working on the flowers, wondering why they were doing this, or just the fascination mostly about it.
Gene started his early hives with the help of his dad, Carl, one of this country's best-known beekeepers. The bee was so important to Carl, he spent 25 years trying to convince the U.S. Postal Service that it should honor the honeybee.
And 2 days before he died in 1979, my office received a call from the U.S. Postal Service saying that the Citizen Stamp Advisory Committee had plans on issuing some type of a commemorative issue in 1980. And so he knew that his life's dream was realized. And so we were fortunate. The bee industry in the United States suggested that it would be issued at Paris, Illinois.
As the honeybee's goodwill ambassador, Gene sees to it that the public is well educated about these industrious insects, and he often takes his show on the road. Today, it's off to Bennett's School in Mattoon.
I hear that you're called the Bennett bees, so I came today and talked to you about the value of honeybees to our way of life. And for a surprise for you, I brought some live bees in a glass hive to show you.
How do you pick them up?
I pick them up with the wings. I take my fingers and just pick them up with the wings.
Gene's infectious love for the honeybee not only wears off on his audience, it's also worked on his family. He and his wife Katie sell the family's award-winning honey from a small shop next to their home.
I have to concentrate.
About 36 dozen for the Kiwanis pancake day there.
They're a wonderful thing, the honeybee. And like I say, I didn't know a thing about them till I married my husband. And it turned out to be our life's work.
Now you may be wondering why Gene and Katie and hundreds of other beekeepers make such a fuss over some small insect that most of us would rather steer clear of so we don't get stung. Well, besides being a pollinator of plants, only bees know the magic of how to produce honey. But how does this sweet stuff get from flower to hive to table?
Nectar is honey. In other words, it's high in moisture. The bee draws the nectar from the blossom and then returns to the hive. She adds enzymes from her body. There it is. Now that little drip.
That's sweet, yeah.
That little drip you tasted, that bee had to fly several miles to get that
Tastes
little
like
drop.
Well, I appreciate all the work the bee did.
They say it takes about 40,000 miles to gather 1 pound of honey.
So as we pour our golden honey onto our hot pancakes, we should think of Gene Killian once in a while and be thankful he's undaunted by a few bee stings. And we should appreciate his love for the bee.
In the world where people take so much away from Mother Nature, I feel that this work with the honeybee is giving it back to her. When the sun shines, the honeybee is happy.
Gene Killian retired from beekeeping in 2014. The Illinois Department of Agriculture renamed their award for honey and bees after Gene and his father. It will continue to be given as the highest honey show honor at the Illinois State Fair. Well, what could possibly be left to know about Abraham Lincoln? More than you think. Undiscovered letters from Lincoln hidden in plain sight. That's later. From the vault, 1990, an anvil used by Abraham Lincoln's father Thomas made its debut during the Douglas County Steam Festival. The historic Jacob Moore home hosted the festival for years, and people came from miles away just to see the anvil. The Nolan family sold the property and moved the festival to a larger property near Jerseyville, Illinois, in the mid-1990s. In the land of Lincoln, every Lincoln discovery is news. You would think we knew everything there was to know about Abraham Lincoln and his life. But as we saw back in 1990, new information can change what we thought we knew. Channel 3's Molly Hall filed this story from Petersburg in Menard County.
This was like being a kid in a candy shop with a 50-cent piece and don't know how much candy you want to buy. This was just an incredible find.
After 5 years of work on the Lincoln Legal Papers project, historians found a gold mine almost in their backyard. Just 20 miles northwest of Springfield, 48 original Lincoln law documents, 113 pages in all, were sitting in a small display case in the Menard County Courthouse.
Do you think anybody realized how important these were?
No, nobody did, I'm sure. If they did, they kept it a secret. I know how valuable they are now.
They had been on display for as long as anyone can remember, at least 50 years. And even though they had survived the threat of theft or fire, they were badly damaged by exposure to light and air. Since late January, they've been undergoing restoration at the State Archives building.
One amazing thing, most of the ink was still clear. It's still, legible.
This document was entirely penned by Abraham Lincoln, as were others in this collection, spanning from 1836 to 1854. One of the documents goes back to the time before Lincoln was a bar-certified attorney. It's a will that was written for a friend who lived here in New Salem.
He wasn't called Honest Abe yet, but everyone trusted him, and he also was very literate. He could write.
One myth they're now able to disprove is the image of Lincoln as the simple country lawyer.
Lincoln and his partners were very, very sophisticated in their study of the law and their approach of handling cases. They handled cases in a similar manner to the best lawyers in the East.
And they've learned a great deal about the people who settled villages like New Salem, finding they're not at all like the images we've found in history books. The documents will be returned to the courthouse the end of this summer as the search for more legal papers continues to Morgan and Scott counties. But officials don't expect to find the discovery made here.
We will not find another collection like this in Illinois. This is one of a kind.
Molly Hall, Channel 3 News, Springfield.
If you ever want to read some of Lincoln's papers yourself, many have been scanned and posted by the Library of Congress and the Lincoln Presidential Library in Springfield. A little bit later, we've got our classic commercial. Stay tuned for that. But next, bare-knuckled competition, hands down, or maybe we should say arms.
The stories and people you remember from Central Illinois. Once again, From the Vault with Matt Metcalf.
It's not every day that you can see the region's best arm wrestlers compete. Photojournalist Matt Perks discovered what it took to win.
There you go. Straighten these wrists up. Want to see some?
You can see from the crowd and the participation, it's going to be just a pretty fantastic event. Today we're starting with our grandmasters, our masters, and the disabled classes. Lots of technique, lots of speed, lots of strength.
We're going on, baby! USA
has to be strong. They win bragging rights that they won the world championship.
Russia with the win on table 3. That's right!
You had no money there, but a medallion for the winners. We're on our way to our town when we come back. WCIA has been producing Our Town for years now, but the first run of that series dates back to the 1990s. For Our Town, Channel 3 focuses on one of our unique locales and celebrates all it has to offer through live programming and commercials, like this one.
Welcome to Our Town, Shelbyville, the place to be for summertime fun. Hi, I'm Judy Fraser. Join Channel 3 in our week-long salute to Shelbyville. All next week, we'll show you what makes this community special. We'll have daily news reports, hometown calendars with special events, a live weather segment, and of course, feature stories on the people and places that make Shelbyville unique. Discover Our Town Shelbyville, starting Sunday, only on Channel 3.
A lot of those places still there, a little slice of life. That'll do it for us from the vault. I'm Matt Metcalf. We'll see you next time.